It's a Marty party.
I want to bring up the other day. My daughter came into my wife and I's room towards bedtime. She was supposed to have been in bed and sleeping for a while, and she was really upset about something that a kid at school showed her. And apparently, this was, I don't remember the name of it, but it was some like puppet type of show for kids, but it was extremely creepy. And only one episode of it was released back in the early 70s. And it has like basically demonic undertones to it, like just really creepy stuff. And apparently, the production company that made this, again, they made this for kids. It was pulled from the air immediately. Only one episode was aired, and the production company, this is the only thing that they ever made. Really interesting. Anyways, I'd never heard of this before, but apparently some kid at school was like, "Hey, check this out," and showed my daughter. And my daughter's like a polite person, and she, didn't want to not watch it after she became uncomfortable. And apparently it was like a 20-minute long episode that she watched. And while she was sitting in bed at night, she felt like, she was being watched and all these other things. It's just that thing that she watched was really disturbing to her. So she comes into my wife and I's room just, in tears, telling us that she can't sleep. And, why? Well, I watched this thing at school. It really upset me. And so we talked to her about this idea of you have to guard what you let into your mind and into your heart. Now, this is something I've known and subscribed to for a long time. Like, I'm not a big horror movie guy. I've really tried to protect the things that come into my consciousness because it does affect you. And I've been that way since I was a kid. And thankfully, my parents instilled that in me and were very protective about the things that I would watch or listen to and things like that. So, it's not something that I had thought to bring up with my daughter yet, but this was the time. It's like, oh my gosh, she's in 6th grade. Like, yeah, this is about the time when kids are going to start bringing things to school that are not something kids should be looking at, but it's just a natural thing that happens, especially in the age of kids having smartphones and laptops and all these other forms of media that just weren't available when I was that age. And so the potential for being exposed to things that kids shouldn't be exposed to is greater than it has ever been. Right. And so we had this really serious talk with her about, hey, you've got to really be careful about what you watch, what you listen to, all that, what you let into your mind and what you let into your heart. And you have to have basically the courage to walk away from a friend to say, hey, I don't want to watch this, or hey, this makes me feel uncomfortable, or something like that. Even if you're at a friend's house or something like that, and somebody wants to put on a movie, I know that's going to happen at some point. Maybe it's a household where their parents are okay with them watching horror movies and things like that. Well, I know that's not going to sit well with my daughter. And we told her, like, hey, if you're at a friend's house and they, all your friends want to put on a certain movie and it makes you uncomfortable, either just ask them if we can watch something else because that makes you uncomfortable, or if you don't want to say that, just say that you're not feeling well and call us and we'll come pick you up. But don't look at things that are, are going to upset you, or the minute you are watching something and realize it's upsetting you or it's something that you don't want to be watching, break contact, and it kind of broke my heart a little bit that she had to experience this. And you want to protect your kids. As a father, I want to protect my kids. And you realize that it's not just their physical safety, it's also their emotional and mental safety as well. Like, we have to protect that. We have to prepare them for life. Of course, we have to prepare them for the rigors of life. They have to understand that there will be things that they encounter that are unsettling to them or hurtful to them, whatever. That's going to happen eventually, but they don't need to experience that as kids. And that was one of the other things that I told her was, hey, look, you were, through no fault of your own, going to have to witness something horrible at some point in your life. It's just the way life works, whether it's the death of a loved one or something on TV, like whatever it is, right? Like, you're going to have to experience it at some point. Don't do it voluntarily. Don't subject yourself to disturbing things when there's no need to. When you have a choice in the matter, you have the choice to walk away and not look at it. And I don't know, it was a real sort of wake up call for me. And so I guess my message to everybody else that has kids, or is planning on having kids in the future, that, hey, once your kids get to a certain age, be prepared for the fact that, and it's going to sneak up on you, but be prepared for the fact that your kids are going to bring, your kids are going to be exposed to things at school that maybe you are not okay with. That could be everything from kids bringing things like porn or sexual material to school. It could be horror movie type stuff. It could be racist memes and things like that. It could be all manner of different things that are just not appropriate for kids. But once they start getting into that fifth grade, sixth grade, certainly once you get into middle school, and now you've got other kids in the same school that are now teenagers and stuff, like it's going to happen. So have that conversation with your kids. Don't wait for them to run into that situation. You're not going to be able to stop it every time, and ultimately it's up to them to shield themselves. But at least talk to them and forewarn them. Hey, there's some nasty stuff out there. You don't want that in your head. You don't want that in your heart. Like, do your best to avert your eyes to get away from that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I hope you as parents don't have to deal with that. I wish kids didn't have to deal with this. I wish my kids didn't have to think about this, but it's the world we live in, and it's not exclusive to this generation. It was the same thing when I was a kid. When I first started seeing things I didn't want to see, it was about middle school. It was about this age. So it checks out. It checks out. All right, well.
It's a Marty party.